What's up everyone, Lion Roar here, and we have a fantastic looking new clan in Bloodline Heroes of Lithus. It is the YIN clan. So of course, I'm going to do a full breakdown and analysis. But first, download Bloodline Heroes of Lithus, a mobile RPG action fighting game where you can marry your champions to create new and unique hybrids. Use the link in the description to start with some free stuff, including gold and diamonds. See you hopefully soon. Alright, so I don't know if you've noticed, but if you want the YIN clan, you're going to have to work for it this time because it's not available in the summoning circle. Instead, we got to click on this new event at the top called Beast Feast, and when you're in here, you're going to have to collect recipes and cook meals, making sure that you've upgraded your chef and upgraded your kitchen, and then you can go into this redemption store, and here's where you can get your mythic hero and your companion. Now, before you think that this is just for the spenders, you can actually do this pretty easily with just your diamonds. So keep that in mind. Actually, this is a relatively good free-to-play type of event for achieving these heroes. You just have to do it differently. Maybe I can do a different video on the best way to acquire these by using gems, but for today, we're going to focus on the champions themselves and see if they're even worth going after. So first, I want to take a look at the trait of the new clan. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on that here. And the trait is called Swift Shadow. It says, casting an active skill increases the caster's attack speed by 9.67% or higher, depending on the rarity. This is just an epic hero. And that's for 4 seconds, and it is not stackable. Now, if you can get this trait up to level 22, so obviously like a mythic with the highest intimacy rating, that can actually be a 25% increase to speed. And this trait is intriguing. It's actually really good. Now, if you're having to pick between Agile and this, Agile is probably just straight up better. But if for some reason you need to have increased speed twice on a hero, then this is really great to have. And it's also really good in like Lux's tournament or against Balco whenever ultimates can't be used, basically. So actually, I think it's a really intriguing trait. I think it could potentially be a good one, and it might be worth having the companion just for the trait. So think about that. If you in the event can only go after one thing, maybe you make it the companion and try to get that intimacy up, because you can always get the mythic champ that way too. Now let's go check out the max skills here in the renowned champs list, because I just want to see what these look like if we fully level these heroes up. So we're going to take a look at the male first. These are rangers, by the way. And I'm going to start with the passive because that's what affects the battlefield first, and then we'll talk about the active skill and then the ultimate. So the passive on the male says Yin's Way, Guardian Insignia. When taking a fatal attack, the caster becomes immune to damage dealt and generates a shield equal to 1,500% of their strength. The shield knocks back nearby enemies, stunning them for 2.5 seconds upon generation. When the shield is active, the caster becomes immune to control effects for 10 seconds. The skill only triggers once every 30 seconds. Which means it's probably only triggering like once in a match, unless you get in some weird situation where it's like one of those Galabar matches where basically Galabar just doesn't die and it keeps going and going. But anyway, this isn't going to fire all that often, but it could save your hero once, which is kind of cool. It's got a nice effect too with the stun, and I think you're really going to want to make sure you have a good healer. Not that everyone doesn't have Male Water and Sun somewhere on their team at this point, unless you're on a newer server, but yeah, you'll probably want healers on the team being able to heal him back up too. Okay, looking at the active skill here, Yin's Way, Shadow Scales, sends a dragon soul toward the target that flies at a steady speed and penetrates enemies in its path. Enemies within the dragon soul take damage equal to 150% of the caster's strength every 0.5 seconds and gain 1 dragon mark. Each dragon mark reduces the target's strength resistance by 5% for 6 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So this has the potential to be a good amount of damage. I think, though, we're gonna have to just see it play out to see how good this actual active skill is with damage. But if you can bunch everyone together and just have that thing go through several of them, that could be good. The thing that's really interesting to me is the reduction of the target's strength resistance. So just for those of you who aren't aware of what strength resistance is, like imagine you have your own hero who of course is taking damage based on the strength of your opponents. But if you have strength resistance, it decreases the amount of damage being dealt to your hero based on the opponent's strength. So it's another type of, it's not fortitude, it's not damage reduction, because total damage reduction can come from, the damage can come from any source. This is specific to strength, but it's really, really good at nerfing opponents whose strength is extremely high. So this is a really great protective factor. Actually, this is probably one of the more powerful defensive factors in the game. So I like to see it here. Yin's Way Draconian Blast is the ultimate, releases a glowing dragon in the air after charging for a short period. The glowing dragon swoops down on the target location, dealing damage equal to 600% of the caster's strength to enemies in the area, reducing their energy by 350. That's another thing I like to see, basically keeping your opponents from playing. If there are dragon marks on the enemy's hit, the marks are detonated, dealing AoE damage equal to 150% of the caster's strength multiplied by the number of detonated marks. That could be an enormous amount of damage. This guy is a nuke hero. He's doing a lot more than what rangers typically do. Afterward, the caster gains 5% strength for every detonated mark for 8 seconds. So not only are we doing strength resistance, but also, I should clarify just so that we're accurate here. We're reducing the opponent's strength resistance. Okay, so when I was reading that example to you, what's actually happening with this hero is you're reducing your opponent's strength resistance. So that means that they're more prone to taking damage from your heroes. So here, when his ultimate goes off, now they're prone to taking more damage, and he's going to deal an enormous amount of damage, and he increases his own strength. So while you're reducing your opponent's strength, he's increasing his strength. So this guy's a nuke hero. He certainly has the potential to deal a whole lot of damage. He's not doing a whole lot else other than that. He is here basically to assassinate opponents. I mean, that is the name of the game, right? Just defeat your opponents. So that's going to be good. But we have heroes in this game that deal a lot of damage, and they do a whole lot of something else too, like healing or control effects or something else. So I think he's very, very good. But I wouldn't think that based on this, I could put him in S tier quite yet. Let's check out the female skills and see if she's as good or maybe even better. So the passive is Yin's Way Phoenix Imprint. Every normal attack has a 50% chance for the caster to dash to the target with a phoenix, dealing damage equal to 300% of the caster's strength, inflicting 1 phoenix squall on the target, gaining 1 stack of plume. That's pretty good. We don't usually see a passive skill that's dealing damage like she's dealing with this. That's pretty incredible. The effect's trigger is guaranteed after every 3 normal attacks. Phoenix Squall reduces the target's strength resistance by 5% and their damage dealt by 5% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So there's the strength resistance again, but on top of the strength resistance that you're decreasing for your opponent, you're also decreasing their ability to deal damage. So now they're taking more damage and they're dealing less damage. And then Plume says increases the caster's attack speed by 7.5% for 12 seconds, stacking up to 20 times. And that's on top of the trait. So you're making it faster. This passive is blowing me away. This is light years ahead of the males even, and I thought the males was pretty good. So we haven't even gone on to the active and the ultimate skill, and she's dealing a lot of damage and doing like control types of effects and things like that. It's pretty awesome. Okay, active skill, Yin's Way Soaring Swirl. Summons 2 phoenixes that slowly swirl around the target location, soaring into the air after 1 circle. The phoenixes drag nearby enemies to the center, dealing damage equal to 300% of the caster's strength 2 times and inflicts 2 phoenix squalls on them. Meanwhile, the caster gains 5 stacks of plume. All right, so this is going to incentivize a strategy where you're trying to bunch your opponents all in one place. So you're going to want not just her doing that, maybe one other one as well. Female Tide Raiser is a popular one I use all the time for this kind of strategy. And then you're going to want multiple effects probably that are really focusing a lot of damage and control effects into one area on the battlefield so that everybody takes it. The ultimate is Yin's Way Pinion Dance. Gains undispellable Phoenix Might for 10 seconds. When active, each stack of plume increases the caster's crit rate by 2%, crit damage by 5%, and life steal by 2.5%. So dealing way more damage and gaining life on top of it. So that's on top of any other healing effect you might have. The caster gains a new buff at 4, 8, or 12 stacks of plume, up to 3 buffs. The buff effects are stackable and as follows. Stackable, okay. Buff 1, all normal attacks are guaranteed to trigger Phoenix Aid. Buff 2, normal attacks now aim at 2 targets and trigger Phoenix Aid 2 times. And buff 3, Phoenix Aid will always hit the target, additionally dealing true damage equal to 15% of the target's max constitution. The extra damage will not exceed 2,000% of the caster's strength. Now, we've seen damage effects like this before when it's based on max constitution. That is very powerful because that means she's going to scale. That means she doesn't even need to be leveled up very high to be dealing a ton of damage, especially if you go into boss fights. It's those boss fights where that really comes into play. But also when you're going up against opponents who have really highly vigored heroes, like she doesn't even need to be leveled all that highly to deal a lot of damage to them, as long as she's targeting them, of course. So I'm seeing a whole lot here that I like. Dealing a whole lot of damage, life steal. We've got the strength resistance on opponents. We've got this damage based on max constitution that's layered on top of like the damage that's being done by strength. So I think she sounds pretty bonkers. As far as traits for these two go, I mean, both of them are using strength, and so you're going to want brutal on them. She's already got this trait that's increasing her speed, but I could see throwing agile on top of it, maybe even for both of them, just because they're both taking advantage of some pretty powerful like active skills and passives. So that means that these heroes are perfect not only in just regular like Arena, Valley of Conqueror, and Guild Conquest settings, but like also in Luxus and whenever you're facing Bulko and stuff like that. So you might not even need to waste traits trying to deal with Bulko if you've got a team put together that's got this kind of synergy going on. Other than that, I think, honorable makes sense to try and protect them, especially her, where she's going to be darting around the battlefield, which is kind of weird for a ranger. I'm assuming that's the text makes it seem like she's going to be darting around, so you're gonna need to protect her in some way. I don't necessarily think she needs energetic, but if you really need to put another layer of protective factor on top of her, you could potentially do that. I know my build with this would probably be like putting agile and brutal and honorable on here, and then possibly pure heart. It just depends, but you don't necessarily need that. You could put it fierce on her. I think that fierce is a really, really good one to stack the damage, and I think that's going to work exceptionally well on him too. So it kind of depends on if you need to keep them alive more, or if you want to go full glass cannon and deal more damage. So those are my thoughts on them. You're going to notice that those are some pretty vanilla traits that I'm talking about. They're just regular common traits for the most part, except for agile. And that's because a lot of the clan traits just aren't as good as the regular vanilla traits now, especially since a lot of them are capped and nerfed and all of that. So just keep that in mind. That's my opinion on these and where they're going to be good. I think she's an all-star wherever you put her. I think against bosses, any kind of team matchup, she can do everything. And I think that he's probably not going to be he's going to be very good against bosses, but not quite as good as she's going to be. And he's going to be very good in any other kind of match, but I don't think he does quite as much as she does. So I'm going to favor her. That's probably who I'm going to go after. So good luck if you're going after these heroes, although you actually need less luck than usual because you just need some diamonds. So, do your guild stuff and get diamonds and go cooking, and good luck. And let me know in the comments what you think about this, and especially how you feel about the event as compared to random summoning stones. So anyway, if you enjoy videos like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, and I will catch you in the next one.